That was Swing from Berlin by Kurt Widmann. This is the BBC broadcasting for Alliance Forces Radio in cooperation with Radio France Internationale and Reichsrundfunkgesellschaft. Next on the programme, we present an important message by His Majesty King George VI of the British Commonwealth.
This is a grave time for all of us. Perhaps the most critical moment in history. For the first time, the entire world is set ablaze by conflict, as we in Europe are surrounded by foes. The Japanese, once a valuable partner in trade to many European nations, had become arrogant after their conquest of China. They now wantonly seize our territories and colonies without regard for sovereignty. Our loyal Australian and New Zealand allies are now under siege as this Shogun Empire threatens their shores. We will not abandon them. The ever treacherous Americans, who violated the sovereignty of our cherished Canadian friends by assimilating the entire nation into a so-called United Republic. It is our duty to liberate the Canadians from the Americans' obsessive manifest destiny. I assure you that the actions of my brother Edward, who fled to America with his wife, will not cloud my determination to do what must be done. In Latin America and Africa, anarchist forces have rebelled and occupied entire continents, reversing centuries of European work in civilizing and developing these lands for their own good. Now they have seized the Suez Canal, a designated neutral zone, and closed valuable trade for nations across the world. Keeping the canal open is the responsibility of the European alliance, even if we must face the whole of Africa. Finally, the greatest threat Europe has ever faced since the Mongol invasions, the Soviet Union. Since the start of the Great European War, they have relentlessly assaulted our homelands with the sole intention of enslaving the European people and destroying millennia of culture, history, and structure. I take this moment to acknowledge those living in Poland, Romania, and Finland who have suffered unending hardships on the front lines since this conflict started. We have been forced into a global conflict to meet the principles and ambitions of our rivals, which, if victorious, would be fatal not just for Europe, but for civilization itself the world over. I therefore call upon all of you, all just and free nations, to this righteous cause. In another time, another world, I have little doubt that the nations of Europe would have still been at each other's throats, with little to fear from the world beyond. As it stands, we who bonded in convenience must now look to each other as brothers and sisters. Make no mistake, there are dark days ahead. We will find the battlefield in our own home, the first time in centuries for most of us. I know, however, that if we stay true to the cause, to the defense of our families, our nations, our alliance, then by God's grace we shall prevail.
That was His Majesty King George VI addressing our listeners in the European Alliance military. We now return to the music with Vera Lynn's Berkeley Square.